And we're live with yet another Polymaker Lightbox stream. I was debating on what to go over today. So what I am going to go over, because I think it will be more beneficial today, is how to render the light boxes, or how to use rendering and Fusion to make them look good. So whenever you're posting your models or your makes or whatever, you can have them not looking nice and pretty whenever you post the pictures on social media or whatnot. Because I know a lot of times you want to share your work before it's even off the printer, as we all do. So we'll take a look at the screen here. I'm going to use a Polymaker Lightbox for the example today. And as you can see, this is just in the design workspace. It looks pretty good, but doesn't have any lighting or anything in it. So where we're going to go is up to the top left. And all of this you can do in the free version of Fusion. So we'll come over here to the rendering workspace, or render workspace. We'll hit this little drop down, get that out of the way. So if you do have this up and you do the rendering, you see how the resolution is like an ultra wide screen. It's going to capture your render in that ultra wide resolution as default. So if you hit this little on the gallery, just minimize the gallery, it's going to change your scaling to more of a 16 by 9 look. But I mean, if I maximized Fusion, I'm on an ultra wide monitor, so well, you can't see it because of the way my OBS is set up. Let's see. See, it's on ultra wide right now, but anywho, let me fix this back. All right, so screen resolution, however you have the picture in Fusion, however it looks on your screen, that's the resolution it's going to capture your image. Long story short. So now we're in the rendering space, and you can see there's lighting already in here. And depending on how you position it is how great or terrible it's going to look, because as any photographer or picture taking, video taking, screenshotting, lighting is probably the most important factor in everything. So if you get your lighting right, you're going to have a beautiful image. Which also, lighting, if I turn it this direction, it's just going to keep rotating the entire space. I'm just clicking on the cube in the top right. I'll take off my camera. Cube top right to position your workpiece, whatever you're looking for. I said this last night in the chat, but if you ever lose your work, just double click your center mouse button and it'll reposition it straight to the center. If you have it all crazy off to the side, double click center mouse button, brings it right back to the center. I click this cube to reposition my stuff a lot, like this front, because I always want to look at my stuff straight on, or straight to the side, straight from the back, or from a 45-degree angle. This is how you're going to capture if you want consistency on your renders, this is how you're going to do it. So if you notice all of my my images from my renders, I always have the front view. If it has a stand, I'll take a render with the stand. I'll hide the stand, reposition it to the center, zoom it in, get the whole image. I'll take another render, and then I'll click the 45-degree angle. If you need to reposition the lighting, you can do that. And then I'll take a backside. I'll show you how to reposition the lighting in a second. But all of my renders, technical difficulties. Is something wrong with the stream? Everything good? Everything bad? Good. Video and audio is good. All right, lovely. So let's go ahead and position the lighting. So let's just say I open this. Well, let's set the scene first. The scene is what you're going to do first. Your default scene is not going to look like mine. So how you're going to change your scene settings is right here with this box and cube setting set up. Click this. You're going to go to your environment. Yeah, skill issue. Environment library. I have mine set to photo booth right now. Your default one is going to be something else, but the Fusion library has all of this in it. If it doesn't have it in it, it'll show your this photo booth down here with a down arrow, and you can download it, and then you just drag it into place. So see photo booth right here. If I wanted to change it to a field, change it to a photo booth. Oh, see now it's on the field. Photo booth is a good place to be. So that's going to be under environment library. So to reposition the lighting, see where it says position right here on the right side, you'll click this arrow key, and then down at the bottom it has the rotation. This is going to be the rotation of the lighting. So you can capture your shadows, you can capture whatever you want. It's going to change the lighting in your photo booth, the diagonal of the lighting. So let's say I want it. I usually I'll find the shiny area and drag it a little past to get a good even. And then in order to take the screen or the render, you're going to come up here to this button, capture image. Capture image, current document window size. This is what you're going to use on the free version. If you want to start changing your resolution and everything like that, you're going to have to be on the paid version to do that. And then also, what you can do is export the rendering with a transparent background. Let's say you want to Photoshop this image. You want to throw it into some kind of Photoshopping background. You don't want to have to erase the shadowing or anything like that. You can run export a transparent background, and you won't even have the environment behind it. I always export it with the background just because I have the environment already installed in Fusion, and it looks great as it is. So once you click capture image, you're going to click OK, and then you're going to name your render. So I usually whatever the file name is, and then I'll type 1 for render number 1, and then you're going to set your export folder to whatever folder you want this to save in. And then you'll uncheck your stand, reposition, and then you'll click again, click OK. And then now I'll go erase this and put number 2. So that'll be my render 2. And then once you set your folder once and save, it's going to save that folder. So you're not going to have to reset that more than one time. And then I'll get the 45-degree view. The lighting is still good, but if you want to tweak it, remember right here on the scene settings, click this, click the positioning arrow, change this to where you want it. That's pretty good right there. Close, capture image. Okay, we're going to call this one 3. Save it. Okay, so the backside, you always have to change the lighting for the backside, because obviously if you're flipping the thing around, you're flipping it around in your environment, or you're flipping your environment around because you're looking at it from the back of your environment. So then we're going to have to come up here to scene settings again, change the position of the lighting, rotate it around to the back. For this one, just a personal preference, I usually do the backside with the stand so that you can see the cutout, the USB cord hole cutout. Just a personal preference. You can do it any way you want. So I'll rotate it to where it has a good contrast between the front and the background. That way you can see the entire back. And then I'll close this. Well, you see, I had the menu open while I turned the stand on, so it automatically went back to turning it off. So I can turn it back on again, and now it's there. Once you have it positioned, capture image, same old song. We'll erase this and put 4, save it as number 4. So that's how I do my regular generic rendering. Now, if we want to get fancy with it, I'll show you how to get a little fancy since we have more time. You have a green screen. I think that might be a on your end, a video player issue, because I used to have that on one of my PCs if you're having a green screen. Let's see. So in order to do let's say you want to start getting into Control R. Uh-oh. What are we going to do with Control R? Or are you talking, oh, you're talking to Nicor. Well, luckily it doesn't do anything in Fusion. At least not in the rendering space. All right, so if you want to get fancy with it, let's say you want to start doing some translucent material. This is going to eat your CPU up, by the way. So if I do this and it starts lagging, that's why. Because Fusion is driven off of your CPU and it don't give a dang what your graphics are. So let's say I want to make this translucent material. Let's say I know the TD of this front blue and the white. In order to change the transparency of your material, you're going to click A and go to your appearances. On your appearances, you're going to right click and then go edit. And you can see the translucency depth right here. That's 3/4 of a millimeter. I don't know how this is exactly measured out, but I can make this like 3 or 4 millimeters thick and it's still going to give me some lighting through there. But this is just the rate, I guess, for Fusion translucency depth. But this is going to depend. This is basically your TD of your material. And since I have my material already set to plastic, the default properties for my material is ABS plastic. It's going to show it as see-through. If I had my default material as steel, like a metal, it's not going to let any light pass through this. Or leather. Leather's not going to let light pass through there. So let's get front facing. Let's turn off all of the front, white, blue. Okay, we're gonna see this back plate right here. We're gonna hit A for appearance, and then we're going to. I have this favorited. I already have like a little cheat code material, but you can go to Fusion Appearances. Let's see here. We're gonna go to. Is it emissive? There we go. So you're gonna go miscellaneous, emissive. You can set either LEDs or you can set like a bright light. And we're going to change this. See where it up here on appearance, it says apply to. We don't want to change the material of the entire piece. We're going to click and drag one of these. I already have mine set up and tweaked. So I'm going to drag my little cheat sheet one up here. My light, because I already have the settings and everything set up for it the way I like it. So we're going to change this apply to faces because I don't want to change the material of this entire back plate. I only want to change the face, and I'm going to put a light source on the face. So that's applying this light source only to the face of this object, not to the entire. So if I turn it around back, you see it's not applied to the back side. It's only applied to the face, the front of that back plate. So this is how we're going to make some fancy lighting come shine through. We're going to turn back on the components. So this is gonna cause my computer to lag a little bit. So just kind of bear with me here. As soon as I hit render, or in canvas render, this is paid right here. This is going to be sending it to their cloud for them to for their cloud services to render it. Unless you want to pay for that, I don't recommend it. You can render yourself on your own computer, but obviously that's going to take a few minutes if you have a weak computer, depending on how much translucent material and lighting and etc. you have in the workpiece. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to take the lighting around back so that you can see the light, the light source that we just added. I'm going to put the light around back of it. So now we have the shadow on the front. So this is really going to show the shine, the light source come through this plastic material. As soon as I hit in canvas render, the play button, I'm going to start lagging, but you can already see the light shining through. And you can see the light shining through pretty significantly. So if I wanted to dim this down, I'm not sure if my audio is lagging. I know my screen has got to be lagging, but is the audio lagging or is it good? I'm good. Okay, so if I want to dim this down, let's say the light is too bright. Oh, we're going to hit A for appearance. We're going to right click on your light source, go to edit, click advanced. We'll see your luminance. This is how bright your source is. Let's just change this down to 200 so you can see a big difference. Oh, that's 2000. Whoops. Okay, 200. We're going to click done, click close, and it's basically going to start your render back from scratch. You can see it's not nearly as bright. It's a lot dimmer than it was. So this is not bright enough for me. I want it brighter. So I'm going to click A, right click my light source, edit, and then I'm going to change this back up to 1000 and then click OK and then close. And you see my elapsed time down here on the bottom. The elapsed time, it resets every time you change a material. Your render is going to reset. If you accidentally reposition your model, it's going to reset. So if you're rendering and you have this thing rendering for minutes at a time, just take your hand off your mouse, because if you accidentally click something, it's going to reset back to 0. I'm going to go ahead and stop this render. And then, okay, so another lighting tip. If you reposition your lighting while it's not rendering, it's not going to get your computer all laggy. See, I can do this freely, no problem. But if you're rendering and then you go to change your lighting, you see how it's making it harder on you. So I would suggest getting your lighting right. It's lagging my whole computer. Get your lighting right before you hit the play button on your render. This is where Blender would shine. Yep. If you want to learn Blender and how to render, that is definitely a better option for rendering if you want to take your time and do it a lot more in depth. But in this case, you can get a quick, really good looking render straight out of Fusion, just like this. Just position your lighting and then capture your image and you're good to go. Let's see what else on rendering. Well, I covered the faces. If you want to recolor your faces only, if you want to take your, if you want to remove this, all you got to do is hit A for appearance. Make sure it's under bodies and components and drag your original material back. You can drag it onto here, but I always drag it on the components. That way it covers every piece inside the component. It'll say, do you want to remove the appearances applied? And you'll click remove and it'll reset it back to this appearance. And you can turn on your other pieces. let's see. There's other options in here that you can add decals, stickers to the front of these as well. If you wanted to import a sticker image and throw it on here. In canvas render settings, you can do, you don't really have many options on in canvas render settings. Capture image in canvas, the appearance, decals, texture map controls. So this is if you put a texture on a material, this is where you can rotate your texture, your pattern, like your wood grains, like in the image there. You'll be able to apply your appearance. Let's say this was a wood grain. You can stretch your appearance. You can rotate it to get your grain going a different direction. Things like that. But that's about it in a nutshell. How I do the rendering. I don't get too crazy with it, but just remember the more lighting, the more translucency, the more acrylic pieces that you have. Anything that's going to take more processing power, it's going to take a lot longer to render your images or your work pieces. So with that, we'll call it good on this one. And then we will move down to, or if anybody has any quick questions, maybe that I can, okay, see an example of a final render image. Yes. Let me open one up here. Or actually, I'll show you that in the application Hangout. That way I can cut this video and then we can record it up to, or we can put this on YouTube as it is. And then I will meet y'all in the application Hangout. So just before we move down there, just a quick plug for the YouTube video. If you don't want to make, let's see, Shurdle.com. I'm going to plug myself real quick. I'm going to go to models. So Shurdle.com/models. I do have a material color pack for, this is going to save you a ton of time if you just want to click and drag these materials onto your workpiece, which also top left corner, that has my my lighting, my little cheat lighting with the settings on here. You can download this. This is for my subscribers. And then I also have instructions how to add these to your favorites. That way you can just throw them onto your work pieces. And then whenever you go into the rendering area, they're already pre-set up. This is all ABS plastic with the proper translucency depth for not each one, but as ABS as a whole. So if you wanted to make them less transparent, you can do that just like I showed you. And with that, I will meet y'all in the application Hangout. And yep, thanks for coming. So brief interruption. If you could go to Shurdle.com/links and purchase any of your items such as Bambu Lab printers, filament, LED string lights you might use for the light boxes, Polymaker filament, my affiliate link here, Vectorizer AI. It is no longer free. You can use this to use my affiliate link. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.